What makes a life truly balanced? What principles keep both individuals and societies from falling into chaos? Plato answered with 4 timeless virtues. These are prudence, courage, temperance, and justice. For Plato, they are the pillars of harmony, the keys to inner order, and the foundation of a just society. To understand these virtues, we must recall Plato's own journey. Born in Athens in 428 BC, he grew up in a noble family, expected to enter politics and lead his city. But a meeting with Socrates changed everything. Plato saw in his teacher a man who cared more for truth than for power, who sought wisdom through dialogue, not ambition. The trial and death of Socrates left a permanent mark. Plato realized that without virtue, even democracy can kill the just man. This set him on a lifelong search for the principles of justice. After traveling to Egypt and Italy, learning from different cultures, he returned to Athens and founded the Academy, a school dedicated not just to knowledge, but to forming virtuous leaders. In his masterpiece, The Republic, Plato presents his vision of the just city. It is more than politics. It is a mirror of the soul. For the city and the soul share the same structure. The soul, Plato says, has 3 parts: desire, spirit, and reason. Desire seeks pleasure, spirit craves honor, reason seeks truth. When these parts fight, the soul is in turmoil. But when reason governs, spirit supports, and desire obeys, the soul finds peace. Virtue, then, is harmony among the parts of our nature. The same is true for society. Workers provide for material needs, guardians defend the city, rulers seek wisdom. When each fulfills its role, society is just. This is why the 4 virtues are so important. They are not abstract theories. They are the habits that make both the soul and the city flourish. The first virtue is prudence, also called wisdom. It is the ability to see clearly, to judge rightly, to choose the path that leads to the true good. Without prudence, reason is blind. We are ruled by impulses, swayed by appearances, making choices that lead only to regret. With prudence, reason becomes a guide. It weighs possibilities, considers consequences, and directs us toward what builds rather than destroys. Prudence begins in small things, keeping promises, managing time, speaking truth, but it grows into life-shaping choices about love, work, and purpose. For society, prudence means that leaders are not chosen for wealth or popularity, but for wisdom. A city ruled by prudence seeks the good of all, not the power of a few. This is why Plato believed philosophers should govern, for only those trained to love wisdom above gain can guide a society with clarity and justice. The opposite of prudence is ignorance. When ignorance rules, decisions are rash, and both souls and cities fall into confusion. Think of a captain who sails without a map. He may steer with confidence, but disaster is certain. Prudence is the map of reason for life's voyage. This is why prudence comes first. It does not act alone, but it directs the others. It is the light by which courage, temperance, and justice are guided. The second virtue is courage, also called fortitude. If prudence shows the right path, courage gives us the strength to walk it despite fear, pain, or temptation. Courage means loyalty to reason's judgment. It is the refusal to betray what we know is right, even when the cost is high. In daily life, courage is the discipline to wake early, the honesty to admit mistakes, the perseverance to keep going when others give up. It is also the strength to resist pleasures that enslave, and to endure suffering without abandoning virtue. Courage is not rashness, but fidelity to wisdom. Plato linked courage especially to the spirited part of the soul, that inner fire that seeks honor and resists shame. When trained by reason, spirit becomes a powerful ally. But when spirit rules without reason, it becomes rage and stubborn pride. True courage is spirit disciplined by wisdom. For society, courage belongs above all to the guardians. Their task is to defend the city, to face danger for the sake of the common good. A city without courageous guardians is defenseless. Fear, corruption, and selfishness leave it vulnerable to collapse from within and conquest from without. The opposite of courage is cowardice. Cowardice silences reason, making us slaves of fear or victims of desire. History is full of examples. Leaders who knew the right path but lacked the courage to act. Nations that fell because fear dictated their choices. Yet courage is also seen in quiet ways. The parent who sacrifices for a child, the student who speaks truth against pressure. This shows that courage is not only for soldiers in battle, it is for anyone who resists weakness and remains faithful to what is right. Courage then strengthens prudence. It ensures that wisdom's vision does not remain theory, but becomes action in the real world. Without courage, prudence is powerless. We may know the good but fail to do it. With courage, the soul has the strength to live its truth. This is why Plato considered courage essential. It anchors the soul in its higher vision, keeping it steady against storms of fear and desire. But courage alone is not enough. If unbalanced, it becomes harshness or recklessness. That is why the third virtue is needed: temperance. Temperance, or moderation, is the virtue of balance. It harmonizes desire with reason, ensuring that pleasure serves rather than rules. Plato saw temperance as agreement among the parts of the soul. It is the inner peace that comes when appetite accepts the rule of reason. Temperance does not mean denying all desire. It means giving each desire its proper place, so that none overwhelms the soul. Without temperance, the soul is divided. Desires pull in opposite directions, and life becomes a storm of conflict and excess. Temperance is visible in everyday choices: eating with moderation, managing money wisely, keeping emotions under control. It is the art of saying no when excess tempts us, and yes when reason calls us to discipline. It is freedom from slavery to impulse. In society, temperance means cooperation. Citizens recognize limits, respect laws, and seek the good of the community rather than selfish gain. When temperance fails, chaos follows. Desires multiply, groups fight for dominance, and harmony is lost in endless conflict. The opposite of temperance is disorder, a life of indulgence where reason is ignored. Such a soul is restless, never satisfied. Plato believed that temperance gives beauty to the soul. It brings symmetry, proportion, and calm, like music where every note plays in harmony. This prepares the way for the fourth and greatest virtue, justice. Justice, for Plato, is not one virtue among others. It is the crown that completes them all. In the soul, justice means each part fulfills its role. Reason governs, spirit supports, desire obeys. It is inner order, the harmony of self. In society, justice means rulers govern with wisdom, guardians defend with courage, and workers provide with diligence. Justice is not everyone doing the same thing. It is each doing the right thing, the work proper to their role, for the good of the whole. Plato illustrates this with the image of a well-ordered city. When wisdom rules, courage protects, and moderation unites, justice naturally arises as balance. But when roles are confused, injustice enters. If desire tries to rule, the city falls to greed. If spirit rules without reason, it collapses into tyranny. For the individual, injustice is inner conflict. The soul is torn apart, unable to act with clarity, strength, or peace. For society, injustice is corruption. Leaders pursue gain, defenders betray trust, citizens live only for themselves. This is why Plato saw justice as the highest virtue. It is not an extra layer, but the very harmony that comes when prudence, courage, and temperance are present. Justice makes the soul one. It integrates reason, spirit, and desire into a life of integrity. Justice makes society one. It integrates rulers, guardians, and citizens into a community ordered for the common good. This is why Plato defined justice as each part doing its own work. For only when every element fulfills its true role can the whole live in harmony. Think of an orchestra. If each musician plays their part under the conductor, the result is music. If not, it is noise. Justice is the music of the soul and of society. It is the order that allows all other virtues to shine together in unity. The four virtues together form a complete vision of the good life. Prudence guides, courage strengthens, temperance balances, and justice unites everything in harmony. For the individual, they bring clarity of thought, strength of will, peace of heart, and integrity of life. For society, they bring wisdom in leadership, loyalty in defense, moderation in daily life, and fairness in every relationship. Plato believed that cultivating these virtues is not optional. Without them, the soul is divided and the city corrupt. With them, we flourish as individuals and as communities. This is why education for Plato was never just about knowledge. It was about forming character, teaching the soul to love what is true and good. Knowledge without virtue, he warned, is dangerous. It can serve greed, ambition, or tyranny, but knowledge joined with virtue serves the common good. The academy that Plato founded was a place to practice this. Students were trained not only in logic and mathematics, but in the art of living with harmony and justice. More than 2,000 years later, the four virtues still shine as a compass for human life. In times of corruption, they call us back to balance. In personal life, they help us navigate choices, struggles, and desires. They remind us that freedom is not chaos, but order guided by wisdom. Prudence, courage, temperance, and justice, they are not just ancient words. They are living principles for every person and every community. When we practice them, we find strength against fear, clarity against confusion, balance against excess, and fairness against injustice. When we neglect them, disorder follows. The soul becomes restless, and society fractures under greed and corruption. Plato's message remains clear. If you want harmony, cultivate these four virtues. Do it within yourself, and peace will follow. Do it in society, and justice will prevail. For harmony in the soul is the seed of harmony in the city, and justice within leads to justice without. So let us reflect, where do you need prudence? Where do you need courage? Where do you need temperance? Where do you need justice? The answer to these questions shapes your destiny, for the soul becomes just when each part fulfills its true role, and society prospers when each person serves the common good. This is the essence of philosophy, not theory, but transformation, the practice of virtue that makes us whole and leads us to inner harmony and justice. Let us then take up Plato's challenge. Let us live with prudence, act with courage, practice temperance, and uphold justice. For in these four virtues lies the key to happiness, integrity, and true freedom, the harmony of the soul and the strength of society. If this journey inspired you, subscribe to the channel. Together, let us rediscover the wisdom of the ancients and live today with inner harmony and justice.